Perhaps it was the utter disregard with which their request to be repatriated to Belize via private charter that was the straw that broke the camel's back in their final decision to relocate to Peru. In fact, that's where community leader Juan Perez was, along with 9 other Mennonite businessmen from Shipyard, when the Philip Goulson International Airport and all other terrestrial and maritime entry points were hermetically sealed in an attempt to stave off the coronavirus. They were there, along with other counterparts from Mexico, scouting land for a gradual move to South America, when they would be trapped outside of the country for 82 days. Shipyard is a conservative Mennonite community in Orange Walk District, with a population of 4,000. Here, the vast expanse of pastoral land is used for cattle grazing, and the livelihood of its many residents revolve around agriculture. While the colony has expanded considerably since it was founded in 1958, farmers are at a crossroads. The supply of produce, including livestock, eclipses the existing demand locally, and there is no new market within the country for them to tap into. The mission to Tres Cruces, Peru identified affordable lands, as well as a population of 33 million that is largely dependent on the importation of food items. Ergo, it is ideal for the migration of Mennonites from Shipyard and neighboring Mexico. Back at home in mid-April, the informal cattle trade between Belize and Guatemala had ground to a screeching halt, pending the enactment of an agreement with the governments of both countries. Prior to an official trade agreement with the Ministry of Agriculture, thousands of heads of cattle were being transported across the border through Bullet Tree Falls and Halacte, a lucrative business for all livestock producers. In Shipyard, there are roughly 20,000 heads of calves, cows, and bulls that will gradually be sold to the external market. The small numbers of cattle presently allowed to go over into Mexico and Guatemala, however, is no longer profitable, since a majority remain on farms and have to be fed and tended to in the interim. The new regime presents an economic challenge for livestock growers. Those are 3 reasons that inform the decision for 40 families, including Martinez and his wife, to relocate to South America whenever the borders are reopened. Nevertheless, it is a treatment that Martinez, a Mennonite born in Mexico and migrated to Shipyard at the age of 10, has received that is disconcerting. According to Martinez, when they were stuck in Peru, numerous calls were made to government officials to facilitate the arrival of a private aircraft at the PGIA, with 10 Belizean businessmen from Orange Walk District. They were equally prepared to foot all related expenses, including the cost of PCR tests to prove their COVID status. Those calls, he said, all fell on deaf ears, despite these individuals being prominent in the agro-productive sector. Ironically, at the time their applications for repatriation were being rejected, other private flights were also being allowed to enter the country. It was not until 82 days later, 25 of those days spent across the Mexican border in Chetumal, that they were finally allowed to re-enter Belize, their respective businesses floundering in their absence. Martinez says that the Mexican government was instrumental in assisting them with the necessary documents in order to fly them to Mexico, which is next door to Belize. For 25 days, they lobbied with Belizean authorities to allow them access across the northern border, before they were ultimately granted permission to re-enter. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.